So today we're going to use the tool FigJam to distill an experience I recently had into multiple meaningful insights. And then we're going to take those insights and add them to my Notes app. FigJam is a whiteboard app from the company Figma, and it's used in the world of UX design, but I've actually found it really useful in PKM as well. It's free and fast and easy to use, and this video is not sponsored at all. It's just an app that I really enjoy using, and I wanted to invite you guys into how I use it. So let's talk about the experience. Generally, I like to write or make music to express myself creatively, but recently I decided to switch things up and draw a picture, and I'm not naturally someone who draws, so I watched a tutorial on how to draw a mountain landscape using only one pencil. And this is what came out. There it is. The goal wasn't to create some beautiful masterpiece. It was to try something new. And I had fun doing it. It was awesome. And I didn't actually intentionally set out to extract insights from this experience, but naturally I thought of some lessons and I just had some thoughts that I wanted to jot down. And then I was thinking, well, why not share the entire process with you? So, with the process here, I started out by grabbing the image from the original note that I took about it and threw it into a new FigJam board. If you can see here, FigJam, you can create design files and the board. This is primarily how I use, as far as PKM goes, I use the actual FigJam board, not design file. And so I literally grabbed the image from, the note and copied it. And it looked like this, right? There was nothing there. It was just this. And then I started adding my thoughts. And I used the text element, nothing fancy. Text is, the shortcut is T. And then you can start typing. You have some options here to format the text and size, make it bigger, smaller. And then you can do different fonts as well. But it's pretty simple, straightforward. Yeah, I've got a few things here that I wanted to jot down, and here we are looking at my thoughts from this experience. And my encouragement to you is that, by the end of this video, I hope that you try something new and try something different. Maybe it's drawing a picture, but then actually using that experience as a way to gain more insight and then jot those ideas down into your personal knowledge management system, and maybe in this way, using a whiteboard app. So the first insight that I had, and the title is right here, what can I accomplish? It's a question. What can I accomplish with what's already in my hands? You only need a pencil. And I love how far you can get with one tool. In this case, it was one pencil. And you can do different shades, and it creates different textures. And it was just really cool to see how I would think maybe I'd need a lot of tools to be able to pull something like that off, but no, you just need one pencil. And it's so simple, right? And then I thought, what do I need to learn about the tool or the resource that I currently have that's in my hands that will help me get to the outcome that I desire, whatever my goal or goals are. And it reminded me of this story in the Bible where a man hands out talents to his servants. He gives one talent or one person 5 talents, another one 2, and then the last one 1 talent. And the first 2, they put their talents to work and doubled their investment. And then the last one, he buried his talent in the ground. And the ones with 5 and 2 didn't bury what they had, right? They figured out the best way to use what they had. Now, I had a quick thought as I was jotting down this note here, and that is, if you want to take a thought further, you can ask a question, right? This here is, what can I accomplish with what's already in my hands? But I also had this question here of what do I need to learn about the tool or the resource? It's a question maybe I don't necessarily need to answer right now, but in the future when I come back to this note, I have something to think about, which I think is pretty cool. By the way, these connectors here are lines, whatever you want to call them. If you use the shortcut X on your keyboard, it pulls up this tool right here, and if I highlight or if I hover over any of these elements, these over here, these little bubbles pop up, and that means I can connect to anything. I can draw a line anywhere. Even if I don't connect, I can just draw a line right there if I wanted to. But that's where all these lines are coming from. So here we go. That's one insight. I want to pause just for a moment here and give you a free gift for hanging out with me today. This is a short PDF guide on how to get insights from the nonfiction books that you read and that you love into your PKM system. By the end of this guide, you'll have a simple system for highlighting your books, a mindful approach for adding content to your PKM system or PKM Notes app, a process for creating building blocks of knowledge for the future, and then a simple tip for making more connections between your notes. The link to the free guide is in the description below. Here's another one. You can unearth insights from new experiences. New experiences wake up the brain, and this is when you feel more creative and ideas flow, like going from a stagnant swamp to a rushing river. And again, I ask myself a question. What other experiences can I try? Now, when I thought about this insight, I immediately thought of what's already in my second brain or my personal knowledge management system. And it's this quote, "Creativity is not a talent, it's a way of operating," from John Cleese. Cleese, I think that's how you say it. And you'll notice I have some icons, these little book icons next to some of these. And this was a visual representation to let me know that when I go back to add these to my Zettelkasten, I actually already have these in my system. And it's more of a way to know of what do I need to connect these notes to, right? So I can connect these notes together, but I already have this in my system. I don't need to create another note for that. Now, as I thought about this, I was going down two different paths here. This one is more of just a distillation of what I was thinking of here, and it's that ideas and thoughts flow when you wake up your brain, and then you wake up your brain with new experiences. So for me, it may be walking on a different trail, write a song on a different instrument. I've done that, and it literally does wake up your brain, and all of a sudden you have this new, fresh sound, and it's really cool. Whatever that looks like for you, as far as waking up your brain, keep it simple. Things that you're already doing, you don't have to go all out with it. And then the other path here, creativity is not something that some people have or don't have. It's a way of functioning, which is the second half of, it's this whole thing. It's just me kind of teasing out this idea that it's a part of our design as human beings. We are creative beings, right? And I remember that I had this note in my PKM called Cows and Creativity. You can never be more or less creative. The idea is that a cow, they don't start producing milk until around 2 years old, but you don't, necessarily say you're not a cow until you start producing milk, right? You're still a cow, whether you produce milk or not. That's what we call them. It's the same with us. You are created to be creative. And so the moment that you're born, you are creative. We can't say I'm this person's more creative or this person's less creative. That's not how it works. Everyone is created to be creative, and how we express our creativity, of course, is different. But you can't be more or less creative than somebody else. You are the exact same as far as the potential of creativity that you have. So I wanted to jot that down. Now, let's move on. Another insight here, the breeding ground for growth is consistently being surrounded by those further along than you. The person that was teaching this YouTube video that I was watching was, they had already gone ahead and learned how to do what I was trying to do, and is now at the point where they can teach other people, right? I was able to accomplish this, and no, it's not the best at all, but I was able to produce this and create this because somebody else went ahead before me and learned how to do it. and of course their version was a lot better than mine. I also noted here that the key is consistently. Right? I can't be around someone better than me every once in a while. It needs to be all the time if I want to grow continually. And it reminds me of back in college, where I graduated with a music degree, and I was around musicians all the time that were further along than I was, and they were better than I was, more experienced, and I grew the fastest there. So I need to remind myself that the breeding ground for growth is consistently being around those that are further along than I am. And finally, another insight, the last insight that I have so far, I mean, I may come up with more, but it is, you don't know if you'll enjoy something until you actually do it. It's just a reminder for myself, because a lot of times that I think I won't enjoy an activity or an experience, but often the opposite is true. I think, and I sometimes I'll put my personality as a, I'll use that as a crutch and say, well, I'm an introvert, so I won't like this, but it's kind of the opposite is true whenever I try something out that I think I won't like. And sometimes, I learn that I don't like it, which led to this thought. Every experience is a way to learn more of who you are and who you're not. And it's just as important to know what you loathe as it is to know what you love. Now you may be wondering, how do I get these into my Notes app, and where do they go, and how do I connect existing notes? How does this work? Let's take a look. Getting them into my Notes app. So what I'll do is I'll open my daily note and reflect. This is the Notes app that I'm using. And each of these insights will be their own note on today's daily note, right? Okay, so I'm in Reflect and I'm on the daily note. Now, what I do is I'll copy the title of the thought. Let's choose this one right here. You can unearth insights from new experiences. And then what I'll do is I'll go into my daily note and hit the the brackets twice. If you're, this may be familiar to you, right? If you're in Obsidian or anything else where you're linking notes in this way. So it's going to give me notes that I have recently used, but what I want to do is Command V, and then I want to hit Enter or click this right here, and it's going to create a new note for me. Now when I click into this note, it is completely empty. What I want to do is take the insights that I wrote down here, copy, and paste. Okay. And I also, visually I can see that this is connected here. So what I want to do is actually connect these notes together. So on this note, I will start searching for that. Creativity is not a talent, it's a way of operating. Okay. And then I also have this cows and creativity note that I want to connect. I don't necessarily have to take everything and make everything a note. I'm going to link back to this board right here. So Command period gets rid of all the extra stuff and all your controls and stuff. But this is what it looks like with the controls here at the bottom. But when I hit share, I want to make sure that this is anyone can access, so that whenever I share the link and it opens up for me, it doesn't require me to sign in or anything like that. So what I want to do is link this whiteboard to this note, and I'll do that for every note, right? And the other one that I wanted to add, this one here, I'm going to make this a new note inside of this note. And the reason is because it started with this. Okay. Which reminds me that I need to link to my original note here, which is, let's see, pictures. No, that's not it. Landscape. My first landscape drawing with one pencil. I wrote that down as just a memorable moment for me because it was something different that I tried. But this is the birthplace of where all this started, right? So I wanted to link to that. And the other one was this note right here. I'm going to copy this, make this the title. I can highlight all of it and hit command or the brackets, and it'll create a new note for me. Now I'm going to go into this note. It's a brand new note. I can add these bullet points if I want to. There we go. Just to zoom out a little bit and go over the process again. I started with a daily note. Everything goes into the daily note, all of my thoughts and ideas, right? It is the inbox. If you're familiar with that, just the one place where everything goes, and then I can sort it out later. But it's always time-based for me. So on this day, I can come back and look at it and see what notes I was able to jot down. So again, I wrote this down in my daily note. When I go into the note, what I've done is I've linked the whiteboard that I was brainstorming all this stuff on the note. I also linked the creativity is not a talent quote. And then I created a new note for this new idea that I had. That was a more distilled version of it. But I wanted to go ahead and create it as another note, which related to this note. Now, when I go to the map, it'll show these relations. I'm not going to do that in this video. Maybe in a future video, I'll open that up and show you guys. And then I also want to create a connection with cows and creativity. So double bracket, cows and creativity. There it is. Bunch of connections, and the birthplace of this note is linked here. And so all of it's right here. And this starts with the one note that I have on the daily note. And I'll do the same process for these notes as well. But I wanted to give you a glimpse of what it looks like to use a whiteboard to distill and to extract meaningful insights from an experience that you had. It may be different than a picture. You could put it in text of what the experience was at the center, and then start, from there, drawing lines to new ideas, and then on those ideas, draw lines to other ideas, right? So hopefully this video was helpful for you, and it was eye-opening, and I hope to see you guys on the next video. Thank you for watching.